Today, Yom Hashoah, we remember the tragedy that struck our people and so many others during the years 1939 to 1945. Over 6 million Jews and 5 million non-Jews were killed during the Shoah. Our 8th grade students have studied this very difficult and sad period of history. They will now convey to you through their words, illustrations, and choir songs, images of a world that defy description. For you, our dear students, we pray that the world will never again know such horrors. Our hope for you is that our people and the state of Israel will forever remain strong and independent. We also hope that the world has learned a most important lesson. Do not remain silent in the face of evil. We begin our commemoration with the chanting of Er Malech Rahamim, led by Ben Preschel, alumnus of leadership.
Please rise.
The biggest question I have about the Holocaust is why. Why did such a horrible thing happen to us? Why is it always us? That brings me to a different question. What? What could have been done to prevent this? What can we do now to keep going? How can we remember 6 million people? How can we honor each untold face and story? היה בתמונה מסמלת את האנשים שניסו להפוך את הקירות של הגטו. אותה היד שעליה כתובים מספרים שהפכו להיות השמות של האנשים. הם ראו את העולם בחוץ, אבל הם לא יכלו לצאת.
Words hurt. Whether true or not, the Jews' reputation will always be hurt by the Nazi propaganda. Ugly, evil, untrustworthy. These words cannot be erased. מילים יכולים להשפיע לרע, אפילו הם לא אמת, לא אכפת לאנשים. מילים רעות נשארות לעולם, אי אפשר למחוק אותם. המילים הם נוראים, אבל אנשים מאמינים. למה הם מאמינים? This picture was drawn by Matthew Greenspan, who couldn't be here this morning. His picture depicts Kristallnacht, or the
after my death, and therefore I am grateful to God for giving me this gift, this possibility of developing myself and of writing, of expressing all that is in me, Anne Frank. Indeed, Anne's longing to be remembered after the Holocaust came true today and for eternity. Anne is remembered for her golden words about her beautiful youth and struggling to stay alive in the secret annex. She spoke of family struggles and the challenges of being a teenager living in the most unexpected life circumstances. In this picture, I depicted some of Anne Frank's most loved items, which she kept very close to her and treasured. I also showed some of the things that best represent Anne as a person. Some of them being her watch, her beloved cat Modi, ice cream, tennis, her crush Harry, talking, and her famous diary Kitty. Through Kitty, she expressed great emotion, which is extremely relatable for young teens like ourselves. Her enthusiasm for writing is what others find joy in reading, and her spark of life will glimmer on for generations to come.
I drew a picture of the Avion Conference. This conference was an attempt to give a place for Jews trying to escape the Holocaust. There were diplomats from many countries, including Italy, England, Switzerland, Spain, Canada, France, Holland, Denmark, and Belgium. In principle, the conference was a good idea, but it failed miserably. Almost none of the countries were willing to accept any sizable amount of Jews into their country. They used weak excuses like, we don't have enough space, or we don't want them, and the Jews will be fine without our help. חוסר בתוצאה חיובית מקוידה הזאת הראה להיטלר שאין מדינה שרוצה לקבל את היהודים מגרמניה, ולאף אחד לא אכפת מהיהודים. אחרי כמה חודשים הגיע ליל הבדולח.
In order to protect their children, families in Germany and Austria sent them to London, where it was safe from the Nazis. This transport of children was known as the Kindertransport. Although it was difficult for parents to send their children away, they knew it would be a safer life for their children. In my picture, I show a train traveling from the darkness of Germany to the light of London.
The Kindertransport and being separated from family. Imagine standing with your loved ones for one moment and the next heartbroken and scared. Traveling alone in the Kindertransport was very hard and frightening for the young children.
Gone, gone, gone. Flames were everywhere. Walking through the streets, all they saw was fire. Synagogues burning everywhere. Glass thrown through the streets. Broken windows, broken people. Stuck here, it's never over. העם אחד לבני ליל הבדולח, כולם היו שמחים. היהודים והלא יהודים שחקו יחד. אבל אחרי ליל הבדולח אין צחוק. רק יש דמעות, והיהודים הם לבד.
This is an image that will stay also in your minds forever. This is the kind of disrespect that can't go on. This shouldn't be their fate. They should be at rest so those lost souls can find their way to freedom. And I'm not talking about the terrorists. I'm talking about those people that may have risked and lost their lives to protect the terrorists and their people. This is not something people can and should turn their backs upon. It's time to change.
In my picture, I have the names of the countries where the Holocaust reached, as well as several camps in the years of the Holocaust. בצד שמאל צבעתי בשחור, כשנים היו חשוכות. ובצד ימין צבעתי באדום, כתום וצהוב, צבעים של אש, סמל לשנים והפתרון הסופי. הצבעים האלה חזקים ובהירים. הבהירות הזאת מסמלת את הסוף של השואה ואת התקווה לחיים חדשים במדינת ישראל.
These words explain what concentration camps were like. The words around camps describe what happened in the camps, the Jews and all the others' feelings, and the fact that they had nowhere to go. They were frightened and scared that they would be forced into gas chambers and die.
אני ציירתי את התמונה הזאת להראות שהדברים של השואה נוראים, אבל זה לא השפיע על הנשמות של היהודים. רואים שמגן הדוד השחור נוגע במגן הדוד עם האור, אבל הם לא ביחד זה עם זה. בתמונה יש תקווה שיכולים להיות יהודים גם בזמנים רעים. I chose to illustrate this to show that the horror of the Holocaust still cannot dampen the inside spirits of those imprisoned. You see a Jewish star in the middle that even though half of the Holocaust side is touching the life-filled side and still is not allowed in.
Anne Frank believed that hope and happiness would help her through the difficult
For the Jews, the hope to try to live is sometimes covered up by darkness, but they never lost hope and faith in Hashem.
Every night at Hanukkah, we light a candle for every night of freedom. The Jews could only hope to be free. They were locked and tortured in concentration camps. During Hanukkah especially, they wanted freedom.
Numbers. This was the way the Jewish people were humiliated during the Holocaust. They were put through hardship and torture. The only thing they had left was their identities, and even that was taken away to ultimately dehumanize the Jews. My picture represents the way the Jewish people felt, just a number, and that no one should be treated as terribly as they were during World War II.
In my picture, there is a yellow Star of David patch that the Jewish people were obligated to wear during the Holocaust. Also in this picture, there are bars covering the Star of David. This describes the Jews during the Holocaust. They were temporarily trapped. The bars are removable because after the Holocaust, the Jews became free.
During the Holocaust, millions of Jews were shipped to ghettos as prisoners. In the ghettos, the Nazis starved and killed the Jews for entertainment. In some of the ghettos, the Nazis showed to the Red Cross. They made it look good so the other nations suspected nothing. The fact remains that the ghettos were mostly stopping points on the Jews' ways to their death. Warsaw, Dubno, Lodz. Hem machanot avodah. Sham, הרבה יהודים מתו. היטלר חשב שהיהודים הם בעיה גדולה. הרבה אנשים מתו במחנות האלה, יהודים וצוענים. האנשים הם אנשים טובים, והם לא היו צריכים למות.
I made this picture to portray the tears that came from the Jews' eyes. To show their emotions, I put an actual tissue on the diary entry page and paper tears. The Jews were dehumanized and made to live in horrible concentration camps. Every night, they went to sleep hungry, thirsty, and crying.
My illustration represents the Jews who resisted during the Holocaust. We learned how the Nazis used the methods of dehumanization to try and break down all hope and spirit of the Jews. It was important for the Jews to resist these methods because remembering that they were human and having hope is what allowed the Jews to stay strong and help some of them stay alive during the Holocaust.
I have drawn a picture of one of the 3 ringable milk cans hidden in the cellars of the Warsaw Ghetto. Onek Shabbat, the code name for a documentary group formed in September of 1939, was led by Dr. Emanuel Ringblom. Ringblom, as well as other historians, writers, rabbis, and teachers, collected diaries, narratives of deportations, public notices by the Judenrat, newspapers, and more. These were buried on the eve of the ghetto's destruction in 1943. The milk can that I have decided to draw on December 1st, 1950, and has served as a primary source chronicling daily life in the Warsaw Ghetto. החיצה חלה של גטו וורשה עוזרת לנו להבין וגם לזכור את החיים של האנשים שגדלו בשואה. למרות שאף אחד מן האנשים שעוזר להציל את הכתבים האלה לא שרד את המלחמה, אנחנו זוכרים אותם בזכות תפיסת ההיסטוריה שהם השאירו לנו.
לעזאזל, מקום שאנשים רעים הולכים, מקום ששטן הוא המלך וכל האנשים מתים באש, מקום שאין אלוהים, בשואה, גם יהודים טובים וגם יהודים רעים מתו. הנאצים היו מלכים והיהודים היו עבדים בלי אפשרות לבחור. הם מתו באש או ברעב. כאשר היהודים היו צריכים את השם, הוא לא היה שם בשבילם. היהודים לא הולכים לעזאזל, הם הולכים להשם.
כל מקיים נפש אחד כאילו קיים עולם מלא. האחים של ביאלסקי הצילו הרבה אנשים ממחנות המוות. אולי אם יותר אנשים היו נאלצים להציל נפש אחד, לא היו לנו כל כך הרבה מתים. He who saves one life saves the world. Many Jews, as well as righteous Gentiles, followed this message during the Holocaust. One example is the Bialsky brothers, a set of Jewish brothers who hid almost 1,300 Jews in the forest. And from those saved lives, we have thousands of Jewish descendants alive today.
Cattle cars to Auschwitz were the end of the road for many Jews. Only a small group made it out alive. They had nothing but the shirts on their backs. במוזיאון שואה ראיתי סרט וידאו של ניצול שואה. הוא סיפר, איש יהודי עמד על ידי והתפלל. לא הבנתי למה הוא מתפלל. שאלתי אותו למה הוא מתפלל. מה תפילה כבר יכולה לעזור לו במצב הנורא הזה? והוא הביט בי וענה. אני מתפלל כי אני מודה להשם שאני לא כמו הרוצים האלה.
I decided to use darkness to represent how the Jews felt during the dark times, as well as the light faded pencil to express that life slowly disappeared. It is important that we never forget the ones that died during the Holocaust and continue to tell the stories of these dark times.
A downcast eye with a single tear, just a drop of water that sheds sorrow and fear. These words express such great meaning when we remember the unimaginable horrors done to us. In the future, we must prevent man from turning this earth into a graveyard. Please God, lo nishkach. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, aseh she'anachnu nihiyeh acharayim echad l'sheni, aseh shelo yikru od dvarim ra'im ba'olam, ve'aseh she'anachnu nihiyeh yoter chazakim.
The wild trees rustle over Babylon. The trees look ominous, like judges. Here all things scream silently, and, bearing my head, slowly I feel myself turning gray, and I myself am a massive, soundless street, above 1,000 buried here. Yevgeny Yevtushenko writes about the tragedies that happened in Russia during the Holocaust, and the shame he felt when he found out there was nothing in Babi Yar to represent the massacre that happened there.
I chose to highlight the word resistance because during the Holocaust, many people resisted Hitler. The colors are vivid because there are many vivid battles between Nazis and righteous Gentiles. There are overlapping blocks because some events were a catalyst for other events to occur. Some overlap more because they were a bigger influence on another event that occurred.
I drew this picture to commemorate the 11 million people, 6 million of them Jews, who died in the Holocaust. In my picture, I wrote "Gone Forever" because none of those people who died in the Holocaust had the chance to live free like us. התמונה הזאת מזכירה את 11 מיליון אנשים שנהרגו בשואה, ו6 מיליון מהם היו יהודים. בתמונה שלי כתבתי "Gone Forever" מפני שכל האנשים בתמונה נהרגו בשואה ולא הייתה להם זכות לחיות חופשיים כמוהם.
In my portrayal, I drew a dark, unforgiving forest representing the obstacles parsons faced during the time of the Holocaust. The Jewish parsons were forced to live in the forest in order to hide from the Nazi occupation of Europe. The trees offered protection for those who sought refuge, but also instilled fear. For all they knew, danger lurked behind every tree.
Life wasn't always a nightmare for European Jews. Before the Holocaust, Jews could be lawyers, doctors, actors, well-dressed, and well-fed. The rise of anti-Semitism frayed the hems of these suits, bringing hardship and difficulty. As the transportation to the ghettos began, bodies and clothes became smaller, and the numbers and etched upon the arms and backs and necks grew larger. Suits of misery replaced those of silk, ties transformed into nooses, shoes became the bonds of slavery, chaining the victims together. For many, the ends of their sufferings were more welcome than living, for peace came at the end.
Everyone had an identity, some hidden, some revealed, most were lost. In my picture, I portrayed a burned identification card. The words I wrote say, identities lost, and names become numbers, people become animals. Giving up is a final solution to a temporary problem.
Righteous Gentiles saved thousands of innocent lives. Some, like Raoul Wallenberg, were in a higher position of power. He was able to convince a Nazi general to stop a mass murder in one ghetto. He saved 70,000 lives.
I drew this
Amy Lee Lamore. There are no words. Though there are no words to describe, no words to explain, no words to teach. Fear, pain, loss, fire. In my portrayal, through the eyes of the Jew, I have chosen to illustrate a picture of man. Surrounding the pupil is burning fire, and in the pupil, the Jewish star. The fire represents the hatred, pain, and fear eating away at the Jews. There are no words to describe what the Jews saw, felt, and believed. Amy Lee Lamore. There are no words to say what was seen through the eyes of the Jew.
Schindler was like other Nazis, self-serving and cruel. However, as time went by, he became generous. He soon managed to save many, many Jews. At the end of the Holocaust, he regretfully thought about how he could have saved more Jews. If he had sold his car, he could have saved 10 more Jews. A pin, 2 more Jews. Schindler היה איש רע, כמו הנאצים האחרים, אבל במשך השנים הוא הבין שצריך להציל אנשים. הוא הציל הרבה יהודים. אחרי השואה הוא חשב שאם הוא מוכר משהו, הוא יכול להציל יותר יהודים. אם הוא מוכר את המכונית שלו, הוא יכול להציל יותר מ10 יהודים. אם הוא מוכר את השיחה שלו, הוא יכול להציל יותר מ2 יהודים. בסוף הבינו שיותר חשוב להציל חיים של אנשים מאשר לקבור חפצים.
When we visited the Holocaust Museum earlier this year, one thing stood out to me. It was an old milk can. The sign next to it read that people in one of the ghettos had hidden journals and important documents in it. They had buried the can to keep the Nazis from finding it. This can reminded me of how many stories are still alive today, and that it's our job to tell the stories we know, and to uncover the ones that we don't. The war, the fighting, the sadness. The Frank family was trapped, and poor Anne Frank knew this. In her diary, whom she called Kitty, she wrote that the secret annex was, quote, a piece of blue heaven. I understand this as her way of explaining how dark and gloomy the atmosphere was outside. The annex was for safe haven, for protection. The secret annex might have been calm, quiet, and boring, but Anne was so grateful and thankful to have it because she knew that people were dying outside.
Hold up, Kamalo Hayu. Generations, how many were not? If one man is killed, his unborn sons, grandsons are gone, thus destroying the possibility for future generations. But Schindler's Jews inscribed upon his ring, Kol Mekayem Nefesh Shafat Ki'ilu Ki Olam Maleh. Here saves one life, saves the world entire.
My illustration represents the millions of Jewish lives killed during the Holocaust. At the Holocaust Museum in Washington, D.C., there was an exhibit with shoes. Shoes of all different shapes and sizes, all representing different people who unfairly perished in the Holocaust. Being surrounded by all the shoes was a symbolic way to realize how many lives were lost. Hashoah sheli misamelet et kol ha'ayim she'avanu b'Hashoah. The museum in Washington, D.C. hayu na'alayim. Na'alayim shel anashim yuchadim v'shonim. Kol ha'ayim shel adam hashuvim. Na'od u'me'achurei kol na'al yesh zikor enoshim. She'ra'iti et ha'na'alayim hanvamti kala milyonei anashim matil.
For the Jews, they lost everything. Their homes, their families, friends, and their lives. But the one thing they didn't lose was their hope and faith to God. This picture I drew represents the crying people praying to God because that's the only thing they had left. Tikvat emunah Hashem. היהודים בגרמניה איבדו את הטבירים, המשפחה, הבית וגם את החיים שלהם. אבל הם לא איבדו את אמונתם בהשם. זאת הייתה התקווה האחרונה של היהודים. הם התפללו וביקשו מהשם עזרה. זה היה הסיכוי היחידי שלהם לשרוד את השואה ולחיות.
As we entered the museum, we were given identification cards of real people who experienced the horrors of the Holocaust. We saw what they went through, and at the end, there was a quote on the wall that read, "You are my witness. I am Aaron's witness. We are all witnesses." האיש הזה היו 6 ילדים, משפחה גדולה. הוא איש טוב, והיו לו הרבה חברים, אבל בעיני הנאצים הוא איש רע, שצריך להרוג אותו. איזו בושה.
I made this picture to portray the hardships of Mara Jovikin, a Jewish individual in the Holocaust. It shows that she never gave up her faith and died a Jew.
Her story was one of the few that were heard. אנחנו צריכים לדעת את הציפורים של אנשים בשואה. אם אנחנו לא יודעים מה קרה לאימא שלנו בשואה, הדור הבא לא ידע את הזוועות שקרו ליהודים בשואה. אנחנו צריכים לזכור כדאי שלא ניתן לדבר כזה נורא לקרות עוד פעם.
I illustrated this picture to explain that the Jews have overcome numerous obstacles and amazingly still stand tall. In addition, despite the fact that they were persecuted, they established a state of their own. אני ציירתי את התמונה הזאת כדי להסביר שהיהודים מצליחים להתגבר על הרבה בעיות ועומדים זקופים. גם אפילו כאשר הנאצים רדפו אותם, הם בנו את מדינת ישראל.
As I walked through the Holocaust Museum, it struck me that I am among the last to witness the recollections of our precious Holocaust survivors. My children will never be able to grasp the pain experienced, that one can only relive through the sight of tear-filled eyes as a mouth struggles to form the word death. We eternalize the stories. We must never forget. בעוד כמה שנים כבר לא יהיו איתנו כל האנשים שראו את הימים מלאים במוות. אנחנו לא יכולים לשכוח את העבר, כי אם נשכח, כל העולם נשכח. השואה הייתה זמן של עצב והתנגדות, ואנחנו חייבים לשמור על סיפורים, כדי שעוד שואה לא תבוא על העולם. העולם חייב לזכור, והתפקיד שלנו להזכיר.
Mavit, evil, struggle, lies, murder, Nazis, tikva, desperate, survival, devastation, gone. 11 million, Jews, Gypsies, disabled, Jehovah's Witnesses, homosexuals, and others who were classified as inferior. Killed, vanished forever. There are thousands and thousands of words that depict the images of the Holocaust and World War II. However, those listed above are among the most meaningful to me. I have chosen 11 words, each one representing 1 million people that were murdered. Through these words, we can learn to never forget.
future, the stories must be told, and it is our obligation to tell those stories. We are so very fortunate today that we have with us Mrs. Helena Silver, who is a survivor of Schindler's List. Mrs. Silver's story will now be told by students from St. Mark's School, together with some of our 8th graders, as part of Becoming the Voices program.
I never could have dreamed I'd be standing in a synagogue in America, sharing my story with you.
I was one of the few lucky ones to be on Schindler's List.
A miracle. The Jewish life in Poland was very normal. We went to school, we had our friends, we had our family. But all of this was interrupted by the Nazis.
In
in 1939, when I was 10 years old, the Nazis occupied Krakow, Poland.
Krakow must become free of Jews. The ghettos must be built. The ghettos are getting too crowded. People must be resettled to a better place.
My older brother and sister were taken to a labor camp.
When my mother heard that we would be resettled, she said to me, "Here's a suitcase. Take off your armband. You must hitchhike to the labor camp in Krakow where your brother and sister are. You must say that you're 3 years older in order to be accepted." As I listened to all the things my mother said to me, I started to cry. I don't want to go anywhere. I want to stay here with my family. Whatever happens to you happens to me. You must leave immediately. The Germans will surround your town at any time, and I will lose the chance to save you. I had no choice but to follow my mother's instructions. So, I went out to the road. I stopped a truck. As I was climbing up the steps, I turned around, and I saw my mother from far away, waving goodbye. Little did I know that this would be the last goodbye, and that I would never see her again.
As I approached the camp, the guards came to me.
Where are your papers?
I have no papers. I came to volunteer to work in the camp.
Without papers, you're going straight to jail. Until we decide what to do with you.
All I could think was, how can I get back home? I didn't know that what I called home no longer existed. But then they decided.
You are very fortunate. We will take you out of jail. You have been accepted into the camp.
A few months later, I was sent to Camp Hashoah, a labor camp.
Then another miracle happened. I was working in the laundry. Some German officers came in. They picked a few women, and me among them.
You will go to work in Schindler's factory.
We looked at each other.
Who is Schindler? Where is this factory?
So the next day, they marched us off to Schindler's factory. Schindler's factory was producing enamel pots and pans. One part of the factory was making pans out of metal sheets.
The other part was finishing the pans by dipping them in enamel and sending them to the ovens to bake.
My job was to carry the heavy pots and pans to the ovens to bake. One day, Schindler appeared on the factory floor. He walked in slowly, looking around. Then he stopped. He started to watch me. I was afraid. To be observed by a German was a dangerous sign. He probably doesn't like the way I carry out my job.
He's thinking of a way to punish me.
He was walking towards me. My heart pounded with fear. Then he spoke very politely.
Young lady, wouldn't you rather clean our offices?
I was stunned. No German treated a Jew in such a kind manner. I don't know how I got the courage to ask him. I have a close friend. Could she possibly work with me on the new job?
Of course. First, you must find my secretary. She will become your new boss and tell both of you what your job will be.
I couldn't consider how kind he was. I thought it was just luck. But in my new job, I came to learn that I was no exception.
He treated all the Jewish workers with kindness. He used his own money to fill these pots and pans with food for us.
I observed many examples of how he protected us from harm.
There was a young girl working on a heavy machine. For some reason, the machine stopped. The girl turned to her manager to ask for help. Schindler was brought to the scene. He looked at the machine, then looked at the trembling girl, and he said,
There is no way that this girl could have caused any damage to this machine. We will fix it, or we will replace it.
so in short order, he removed the instrument.
Amonka had a terrible reputation for killing Jews, and everyone feared him.
Because he didn't have to answer to anybody.
He was coming to inspect our camp to see if it was running according to the rules.
We were a subcamp of Camp Hashoah, and he had power over us.
Schindler knew that the inspections would take place. He told us to make sure the camp was running orderly.
No cooking, no laundry washing. Everybody stay inside your barracks.
So the day came for the inspection, and one of the Jewish prisoners did not make it back to the barracks in time. He came running.
Gert raised his gun. Shoot him!
Schindler said, there'll be no shooting in my camp. I'll take care of it.
So Schindler removed the fear from him and saved that prisoner's life.
Amonka and Oscar Schindler were both German.
One chose to kill,
The other chose to save.
Schindler, with his kindness, gave us hope.
he gave us security.
But most important, he gave us back our dignity.
In 1944, Schindler's factory was closing down and moving to Czechoslovakia. We would be moving to work in his factory.
To reassure us, he created a roster of names to be known as Schindler's List. They called the names on the list. Then they put us on a train to Czechoslovakia. After several hours, the train stopped. They opened the doors, and we found ourselves in Auschwitz.
We arrived late that night.
It was very dark. We walked a long way in the dark.
We didn't know where we were.
We didn't know where we were going.
In the morning, I looked around and saw endless barbed wire.
I saw the inmates, who very, very thin, waiting to be liberated.
By day. There is no room for hope. There is no room for miracles.
Then they came for us. They told us we had to go through the showers.
first thing they did was strip us of all of our belongings.
And when I say this, I can't help but think of my husband who went through the same experience. When they stripped him of his belongings, he said,
I promised myself that if I survived this war, I would get as much education as I could to make sure that no one could ever take that away from me. We were waiting and waiting, not sure whether water or gas would come out. Waiting, waiting. We were terrified.
But water came out. Very cold water. We were shivering. We didn't recognize each other, but we were fortunate to have come out alive. Another miracle.
Days were passing.
Weeks were passing.
We stopped talking about Czechoslovakia.
We stopped talking about Schindler. It looked like this was our final destination. But a miracle did occur.
A few days later, a German officer came on a motorcycle with a list in his hand.
Schindler's List.
Then they gave us some bread and put us on a train, this time to Czechoslovakia.
In Czechoslovakia, they took us to Schindler's factory, where Schindler was waiting to greet us. He told us,
You will be safe here. So the question is,
Why did a German, a Nazi, defy Hitler's plan to destroy every Jew?
to risk his career and his own safety to save 1,200 Jews? For us, the answer was very simple.
He was just a decent man that could not ignore human injustice.
To save 1,200 Jews was his kind of victory,
for which the world will never hear.
he saved 1,200 lives.
And from those 1,200 lives come thousands of descendants.
And
After these, there will be more generations to come.
all because of a single individual who had the courage to make a difference.
Whoever saves one life
Saves an entire world.
Also here, words. I'm very felt the breadth and the depth of your learning in such an important way. And thank you to our Voices participants from our partners at St. Mark's, to our teachers, Nicholas, Katie's mom is here, and Miss Annie Kidwell, who's the faculty member who works with students. Thank you so much for being here. To our Krieger Schechter teachers, to Ellen Friedman, Sally Gravani, Rita Plow, Erica Schoen, Catherine Lyons, thank you so much for bringing such an important day to us. And thank you to our audience for being so respectful to our parents, our grandparents, our community members. Thank you for being here today. Krieger Schechter students, you're returning to period 2. You will have speakers throughout the day to continue this message. Period 3.